What's up, guys? I know usually I do the stream on Tuesdays, but since Max is not having a stream tonight, doesn't look like he's having a stream, I'm gonna do this tonight. Okay? This is Last of Us episode 2 spoiler review. Yes, it just ended about half an hour ago. I know you might be saying, Aaron, why are you doing a spoiler review stream after when the show just ended half hour ago? That's because you know what? Max is not having a stream and I felt like it. Okay? That's why. And I definitely be editing this thumbnail, okay? Don't worry about the thumbnail. So don't worry about the thumbnail, okay? So I'll be editing the thumbnail. Now, how this rule works, how this works is, please see the show episodes first. The episode first. So half an hour, we're gonna go through it, talk about it. We're not gonna go very long, but we're gonna talk about it. And we're gonna have fun talking about it. Okay? Okay. But before we really get into this, okay? I was watching the game, no football game in between, but I did see the majority of the show episode, Last of Us, episode 2, The Last of Us. I did see the majority of it, okay? So, yeah. And, well, the ending was good. The ending was really, really good. Episode 2. Okay? Yeah, there was going to be a watch along. There was going to, the reason Max didn't do a stream tonight is because he had family obligations. You know, he didn't know what was going to happen, how long his family obligations going to take. And it's taking longer, you know. You would think he would have a stream tonight, but, you know, family always comes first, right? Always. And they got Fringe trending in Canada. Fringe. Yeah, I remember Fringe. Oh yeah, she's trending. Yeah. And I did put a link in the chat. If Blind wants to come in. And we're going to talk about this episode. Okay? I do need Blind in here. Okay. So yeah, what a sacrifice, right? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, we're gonna be spoiling it here. Okay? Okay. We pick up where the trio, Joel, Ellie, and Tess, you know, Ellie wakes up and Tess and Joel are all staring at her, because she was bitten. Ellie, she's bitten, but she hasn't turned, right, into one of the. She hasn't turned, right? And they're wondering why she hasn't turned. Okay? Now I'm waiting for Blind Braille. Where is Blind Braille? Hi, Arkham. And they still believe that she's gonna turn. No. That's not how we start. That's not how we start the episode. That's actually 15 minutes in. So I'm gonna spoil this. So we get before everything went to hell, okay? In on in the world. Before everything went to hell. We go to Indonesia. Indonesia. Go to a restaurant, an outdoor restaurant in Indonesia, right? You see two military officers go into the restaurant, and they're looking for someone. And you see maybe a 50 or 60, about a 50 or 60-year-old woman, glasses, eating whatever meal she's having for lunch, right? And she thinks she committed a crime, so they tell her to come with her, right, wherever they're going. But it turns out she didn't commit a crime at all. She's an expert. She's a professor at the University of Indonesia, but her field is an expert of stuff we call microbiology. I guess had to do with stuff with funguses. I don't know, whatever. And she is like the best, I guess, in the world, right? And maybe in the country, obviously. And they need her expertise because they are shocked what to learn about this fungus. Fungus is everything. Fungus is what turned everything to hell. Yes, Degrassi, great episode. And I'm waiting for my friend. I'm waiting for Blinded. Get on here, Blinded. All right. And she takes a look. Yeah, she takes a look at this, dead human being. This dead human being, where there's a leg and also some of the fungus in the mouth. And then she was in horror what she just learned, because she said this stuff cannot survive in humans. But like in the first episode, it evolved, right? Like viruses do. Sadly, they do evolve and mutate and change, right? And she was horrified what she discovered. Now this organism, this fungus, this parasite, whatever you want to call it, now has the ability to affect humanity, right? Humans, us as a species. And then, what the military wants, like they want, what the government wants. She learns how this came to be, the origins, with a factory or whatever, and how these all of a sudden someone became violent, and stuff like that, right? And then what the guy they asked her, right? We don't want this to spread, right? Like obviously you don't want a virus to spread, obviously, to the rest of the country and the rest of the world. Yeah, I know. We go back 3 years ago talking about that, but that's and okay.
What's up? I didn't realize you dropped the link. So
Yeah, I moved it to today because Max is. I don't think Max is doing a stream. He's really busy today. Like
okay.
he was. He set up this. He set up a stream, but that was only a question mark because he has obligations with his family.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't know how long
Yeah,
that's going
that's
to take.
fine.
Yeah, so that's why I moved it to tonight instead of
Hmm.
Tuesday. You know what? It'd probably be like a one-time thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um, yeah, so I was just describing like the beginning, right? How the origins of this fungus, how this whole the pandemic of that in the Last of Us universe with the microbiology
Hmm.
professor and how she was horrified what she learned in the military in Indonesia doesn't want to spread and how they could combat like the medicine and the vaccine and like
Hmm.
bomb, bomb. And she was horrified by saying that because she doesn't want people to die, but she's like that's the only way to stop the spread. Obviously, that didn't work.
Yeah, obviously it didn't work. Yeah, it's interesting how yeah that was the sort of origin of the cordyceps and
Yes.
why they bombed everything.
Hmm.
Because obviously, yeah, in the game you see that everything's in ruins and most cities feel like craters almost, right?
Yeah,
So,
they kind of showed that in this episode, the creator,
mhm.
right?
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and yeah, and that prologue, because that's very interesting. Because the prologue, she said, "There's no medicine, no vaccine." If you know the game, Ellie, this is a spoiler review. Ellie is the vaccine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they already talk about that.
Yeah, yeah. In this whole episode, yeah, basically,
Mhm.
that's what it's supposed to be prologue to. Basically, that they finally found something that could possibly cure this this horrible disease, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and I really like this. I really like the beginning where they were shocked that because she was bitten, right? And they were shocked, like they were making sure she doesn't turn, and because they're afraid when she woke up. But she's like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them." Like, no,
Yeah, because it's already been weeks at that point, right?
yeah, she would have turned. You would turn in days.
Yeah, because it's on the wrist.
Yeah, and they have to make sure, but they have to travel to the where they were sent to. We'll get to that later, right? We were meant to sent to, right? We'll get to that later,
Hmm.
but they have to travel through the path there was really really interesting. Like the path, how they had to go, their destination. You got to go through, you know, the
The
hard, like
hotel.
yeah, the hotel, the easy way or the more dangerous way. And the easy way
Yeah.
was it turns out the dangerous way was actually more dangerous,
Hmm. And
right?
and you know it was yeah, it was more dangerous.
Yeah,
And you know it was funny when they get into the hotel, they actually make a joke about the game because
yeah,
in the game you always have to, put, find a what do you call it? Those wooden pallets and you would have to put Ellie on it and then you would have to swim to the next side, right? Because she can't swim. And so, everybody likes to complain about that in the game because it's like there's all these sections where you need to do that, right? So it was kind of funny where she's like, she can't swim, and he's like, too bad.
yeah,
You know what I mean, right? It's
yeah.
like, yeah,
He's kind of he's kind of an asshole to her, but she's kind of a bitch too. Like, kind of,
yeah, but that was definitely like them poking fun at the game.
yeah.
Definitely,
It was
yeah.
hilarious when she went through the hotel, crossing, the swamp, whatever, right? And
Hmm.
she just goes to the counter where the counter is, and the bellhop, and she press on the bellhop, just pretend she's like checking in,
Hmm.
right?
And then you
Uh,
see the skeleton.
yeah, yeah, that was pretty funny. And then they manage to find a balcony and they see like a bunch of I guess you could say you wouldn't call them zombies, would you? Infected. I'll
Yeah,
call
they're
them
runners. They're runners, right?
runners. So yeah, basically infected. They're all infected. So runners, right?
Hmm.
They're all like there's a horde of them, right? And they explain something how I
They're
believe
all connected.
yeah, it's like there's like a hive mind or something like that. I don't know.
Yes, which is not in the game. That's
No.
nowhere in the game. They talk about a hive mind. So
Yeah.
this is a new thing because most of the times when you encounter runners in the game, they're sort of like in a corner, kind of like hunched over, and then when they see you, obviously they start chasing you. So this was a it was a interesting because it did look. I was watching this with my mom, and my mom was like, "Oh, they look like maggots," and it was like,
Yeah,
"Yes, that does look nasty."
yeah, yeah,
It kind of fits with the tone of the infected, right? So it's like, yeah, they would kind of act like that, where they're all packed like sardines, all
yeah.
moving around. It was
And
disgusting looking.
you see the next scene. It kind of got dark over him. It was light, and then you see the dark. It got
Hmm.
light again. Like that was great. And yeah, you did see the crater in that scene, right? They did talk about the crater because when he
Hmm.
got out, I think that when they got out of the hotel, they did see the crater, or not a bit before the hotel, whatever. But they did
Yeah,
see the
that was
crater,
yeah.
and Tess did explain how the crater's going to be because they did bomb all the cities in the U.S. Like Boston's
Hmm.
not the only one, right? They bombed the cities in the U.S. And you see all the buildings collapse. See, you saw some one building like on the side, like the entire Pisa, how that is,
Hmm.
it was, and they talk, and she's an orphan, and she explained how she got bitten by going to a mall, right? She snuck into a mall.
Hmm. Yeah, that was obviously a hint at, and not to get into spoilers, but obviously that's a crucial
Yeah.
part of, she says that she's by herself, but obviously she's lying, right? So
Mm.
it's very interesting because there's a lot of lines where you're like, oh, that's ironic, right? Like you know what's gonna happen, right? Especially with Tess, but like also with how Joel sees Ellie, right? So I thought stuff like that was really fun
Yeah,
to like pick up
she didn't
on.
want he wanted no part because she was asking questions about him. He wanted no part. He doesn't want to. He's dissed
Hmm.
himself from the old Joel because doesn't really want to open up.
Hmm.
He's hardened himself, right? Obviously, when you lose your daughter and you go through hell, of course you would harden you. You'd be hard on yourself, and he doesn't want to open up,
Hmm.
right? Obviously, we know he does. Obviously, later on, like obviously that happens. It's just you don't need to know the game or the show to know that eventually he's gonna,
That's gonna happen, yeah.
yeah, like it doesn't take a super intelligent being to figure that out.
Hmm. Yeah, and he obviously isn't. I mean, he doesn't really give much information in this episode. We don't really learn about anything with his relationship with Tommy or
Hmm.
Sarah. He's just very distant. He doesn't even really share his relationship with Tess, and that was one of the things that in the game you don't really get to know. Like, does he care for Tess? Is that his like girlfriend? Like, it's not really clear. But here it seems like they changed it a little bit because it was almost like Tess actually likes Joel, but Joel doesn't really see it that way. Like, it's almost like he's distant, where it's like, no, I don't really want to have a love relationship with you, right? Like, I just want to be friends or just work together, right? So,
Yeah,
and yeah, not to like jump ahead, but like when you get to the ending, he's almost like he's just so conflicted because he doesn't know what to feel, right? He's like, I don't really love her, but I don't want her to go, and it's like I do love her, and he doesn't say anything. So it was very interesting seeing that because it was like, oh wow, like it said so much with just his face expression. Where it was like I didn't really get that from the game. Like the game, it's almost like it's like just happens. It's just like Tess is gonna die, and you have to just keep going forward because all those soldiers are coming in and shooting at you, right? So you don't get to process what's going on, and
hmm,
they never do because they're always just on the run. So I did like that change. There were some people saying, "Oh, they have like a major change in this episode," and oh, it's
the
not going to be
ending
good.
was
But it
only
was a good change. It was a better
yeah,
change in my opinion.
yeah. It wasn't yeah. We'll definitely get to that. I think it fits better with the story overall too. With people that haven't played the game.
Hmm.
I mean, people are gonna. I know. You saw a tweet. I saw a tweet you had where it said like sales for was it for the first one or the second game that went up like over 200%.
Yeah, for the remastered and then
Uh,
for the part two, the remake.
yeah. So if they play the remaster, they're gonna notice the differences between the show and the game. But here's the thing:
Hmm.
shows could get. Here's the thing: comic book movies. Okay, a lot of general audiences. Yes, comic book movies. General audiences does generate the majority of the money for that. That's for any movie, really, right? Any,
Hmm.
but I know for a fact that comic book movies do help get people to buy comics. And it's
Yes.
definitely the same here. I think video game stuff can help with that too. And you're seeing
Yeah,
it right
that
here.
that's going to be a big. I mean, there's already
Breed
how many
advancing.
PS4s,
Yeah.
right, in the wild.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it makes sense that there's
Yeah.
people who have a PlayStation and have never played The Last of Us, which I think is crazy, but they're out there. So
Hmm. And yeah, it could definitely good stuff. It would definitely get people interested in buying. Like this, it's a positive for video game
mhm.
industry. It seems like yeah, they are selling hot cakes right now. It's gonna last for a little bit until
It's probably going to last the whole season.
yeah, the whole season. It's 2 months. Yeah, until we got maybe Star Wars. The Star Wars game comes out in May. Zelda's gonna. Oof,
And I told
Zelda.
and I was telling you, I'm pretty sure they're gonna they have a Last of Us game that is going to come out this year, Factions. So that's also going to be huge too, and that's going to be free to play.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, this franchise is just going to blow up,
Yeah,
like
and
even
this
more than what it was.
I like. We're gonna get back on track on Last of Us, but I'm saying this. I wish video game movie was badass. One video game thing was bad last year. Video game stuff the past 2 or 3 or 4 years adaptation have been better, have been improving.
Yeah, they've been slightly improving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see so many companies invest into video games now, especially
Mhm.
Amazon and Netflix. Those two are going at it. Amazon and Netflix, they're really going at
Yeah.
it.
I'm hoping after the show,
Mhm.
HBO picks up another game because I think that would be really interesting to see them adapt a game that's not like The Last of Us, but kind of again very like story driven, right? Like I'm not expecting. So obviously, I'm not expecting Mass Effect, but like I wouldn't mind a Wolf Among Us show,
Mass
right?
Effect is Amazon, I think.
Yeah, Mass Effect is with Amazon, but they still haven't greenlit anything. But yeah, I would want to see another HBO show. Yeah, we're probably going to get news about The Last of Us 3 too.
I think,
I wouldn't be surprised if they just come out with a CGI trailer
yeah.
this year. Yeah, it would make so much sense if they did that.
So, so we get to the museum, right? The museum's obviously dark, so they pull out their flashlights.
Hmm.
We got to that. We got to that one. Looks like that one room that looks like more war kind of antiques of whatever era.
Hmm.
Like maybe it's probably since it's in Boston, it's probably from the Boston Tea Party, so it's probably from like they're fighting for independence from England,
Hmm.
right? That's probably what that ring was that they went into when they had to and then they hear the voices of the what were they called again?
The clickers.
The clickers. That they kind of stole that from Resident Evil with the liquors.
They do look like liquors. Yes, they do look like liquors. The heads, at least. Yeah.
Yes, the heads. Any kind of
Yeah, I
lie,
could see
right?
that. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, the
Resident
clickers
Evil.
work a little bit different,
Resident
obviously.
Evil was originally a Sony property in the first place.
Well, yeah, I was on the PlayStation, the first
Yeah,
game at least.
yeah, yeah. That was a great scene though.
Hmm.
'Cause Those
That
scenes,
was like ripped out of the game.
those are
Except I made a joke about this where it's like, if you've obviously played the game, you would realize that them using the guns against the clickers would be an absolute waste.
it
Like you
kind of
wouldn't do
worked.
that in the game.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can't if you use a gun on a clicker, you're pretty much dead,
Hmm.
right? So I thought it was funny how they're like they didn't. It was interesting. It was funny. Like obviously, I'm not mad because it was a good scene,
It's
but it
a
was like they didn't actually know what clickers were, which I never really thought of. Like pretty sure up until that point, like even before the first time you meet a clicker in the game, it seems like they already are aware of a clicker and what it
Yeah,
is. So I thought it was interesting that
it
they
seems like they're
didn't know
aware.
this thing existed.
It seems like they're aware of a lot of stuff, like a lot of the what's out there,
Hmm. In
right?
the game, at least, yeah.
Yeah. Is this where probably got Tess got bit, right? Probably by a clicker,
Hmm.
right? That's
Yeah, it
probably
was a similar. I that part now is like kind of like I'm not sure what happened, which order, but because I
well,
thought the museum was where they were in at the ending in the game, at least
hmm
when they get to that hall. And I'm gonna have to play the game over again, but
that was a great
because
scene.
yeah, because I know after that scene they go, or at least after the ending of this episode, they go into the subway, right? But who knows if we'll see that in the next episode?
Yeah, you gotta, you're not gonna see everything from the game in the first season.
No, I'm not expecting to.
Yeah,
It's just way too hard. Yeah.
you can't do that with a show or a movie. Is you can do it with a video game because a video game, video game stories are long as hell.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why most of them work better as TV shows, unless it's like Mario, for example. Mario doesn't need to be a TV show. But
No,
Mario
yeah.
could work as a movie. Sonic could work as a movie. Stuff like that, a simple story, it could work as a
You can
movie.
do it as
But
a movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
complicated stories. It's like books. Books to me fit better as a TV show too.
Hmm.
But yeah, so after that museum scene, right, when they dealt with the clickers, which is a great scene, they get to the destination we're supposed to go, but nobody was there, right? Like nobody was there.
Hmm.
And Joel went to go up to that truck, right? You see, and just to be careful in case something pops out, right? You know, there's a dead guy there, and they go into I guess it's a mansion. Was no, it's a
Yeah,
is
I
it
don't know
no
what I don't remember what that building was. I thought in the game it was the museum.
Okay, I thought they
So in the show they changed it to something else.
I thought they changed it. I thought it was supposed to be like town hall building. The building. I don't know. I don't
Oh,
know.
maybe like a town. Yeah. Okay, that would make sense. Like a
Maybe.
Capitol building or something
Yeah,
like
Capitol
that.
building. Yeah. So they go in and they see all the dead people. Obviously, it was one. They got infected and they end up killing one. Got infected and they end up killing each other. Right.
Hmm.
Right. And then and then Joel's like pretty much giving up. That there's nothing we can do. We can't do anything. There's nothing we can do. And Tess is the opposite because Tess started to believe. Tess started to believe in the Ellie is the cure, the vaccine, the answer to everything, to the curing the infected, because she's affected herself.
Hmm.
Like Ellie is the one that points out, like, oh, she's infected, right? Because she saw how desperate she was looking for a radio or something like that. You knew something was up with her. She was affected, and that was great, right? That was great,
Hmm.
and then how did they? And then all of a sudden, that horde with the maggots, as we could call them,
Yeah, the
you know,
maggots. Yeah.
they started. They know their location. How did they figure out their location again?
Early in the episode they explain that if
Why?
you the hive mind works in a way where you could
Yeah.
almost be on the other side of the city, and if you step on one of the live fungus, it may actually trigger the
Oh
hive
yeah,
on the
activate.
other side.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's almost
This
like
is
they're aware, right? That's why when before they go into the museum, he checks the fungus because he's like, we have to make sure that's not alive,
oh
right?
yeah,
It was
yeah.
all dead fungus. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then I get, Joel would had to be convinced that by Tess that to take care of Ellie, take her where she has to go, where because obviously she can't go with him because she'll turn and become infected. And she puts the oil tanks, tips the oil tanks, right? And oil all over the floor. Obviously, because she's gonna burn, right, whatever building, right? And this is one of the changes from the game, right? It wasn't
Mhm.
it wasn't the infected that go after. It's the soldiers.
Fedra,
Yeah,
yeah,
they go after.
because Fedra figures out where the Fireflies are, and so
Yes, the
they all
fireflies.
send like a platoon after them,
Hmm.
right? And so she has to defend them, and then you have to obviously escape,
Hmm.
and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So,
And this is a great
mhm,
scene. And what was really what was really got me, like what really like freaked me out, it was that one zombie that went up to Tess, and you see her struggling with the lighter, and then
mhm,
it looks like she was gonna look. It wasn't a kiss, obviously, but it looks like he was transferring the fungus into her, even though she was already infected, but she was still
mhm.
human, right? So the zombie doesn't know that. Obviously, they don't have any intelligence. They don't know that. So and now when you see the fungus being transferred, but then she finally got the lighter to light up. And here's the thing: in every movie or TV show, it always happens. You always see the person struggling to light the lights,
Yeah,
struggling
for
with lighters.
suspense, yeah.
Yeah, it's always. It's such a cliche, it's such a trope, but
Mhm.
it
Yeah, it
happens.
is.
But you have to, right? Because you can't just like, oh, we're just gonna light this thing up. There we go. Maybe in the game, but no.
Mhm.
And you see the whole building blow up, right? Like the whole building blow up. And you see Joel. Joel is like takes a look back and just walks away. But Ellie is like so shocked and awe, stunned. They can't believe it. And she doesn't walk
Mhm.
away, right? She doesn't walk away. It ends there with her, like so
Just,
shocked
yeah,
that
just shocked, yeah.
yeah,
And obviously in the next episode, as Tess reference, they're gonna obviously see Bill and Frank. So
yes, Bill Frank is
that's gonna be very interesting to see what actually happens because at least so far in the trailers, it obviously one of the big changes, if we're gonna talk about spoilers from the game that are not into, yeah, right. So obviously Frank is dead in the game. We don't meet Frank at all. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to him. And then, secondly, from my understanding in the trailer, it seems that they're in a gated community where there's no fungus, which is obviously not in the game, right? Bill is the one that's running the whole town, and the town is overrun by runners and clickers, right? So obviously, that's going to be a change
hmm
to the game. So we'll see, and if it lines up, obviously with the game too, we should be introduced to the bloaters, or at least one bloater,
Nick
because they have
Offerman
to.
is playing
Well,
Bill.
yeah, Bill. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
Bill in the game, him, Ellie, and Joel, they have to go and get the battery for the car, right?
yeah,
Because that's obviously a plot point in the game too, and so they have to go in the high school, and so once they get the battery, that's when they see the bloater, right? And so you have to kill the bloater in order to escape.
yes. If speaking of high school, Ellie pretty went to high school, but she was 14 years
She was
old,
in
wasn't
boarding school.
she?
Yeah,
But the thing is,
they'll show that. They're going to show that.
she was oh really? But she was 14 years
Mhm.
old, right? And that thing started in 2003, right? Pandemic,
Yes, yeah. So she wasn't. She was born during this whole thing.
and he's still at school.
Yeah. Well, she will see because she went to boarding school, so
Oh,
she was being trained to be a Fedra soldier, right? And they
oh,
talk about that in the first episode too.
okay, yeah. Well, she has a mouth on her. I don't think she's not like that in the
Yeah.
game though. She doesn't have a
Well, she kind of is a little bit.
little bit,
Like
but
she
like
talks back to Bill at least.
no,
Yeah.
she does look 14 in the game. I know she's 14, but she doesn't look 14 in the game. I don't know the show,
No. Yeah.
in the shows, because the actress is not 14.
No. I mean, she does look young, but she's not 14. She's much
No,
older.
no, like she was young in Game of Thrones, like really, but
Hmm.
I guess it's because they wanted an actress who was 18 or older that could do an HBO, so like a swear and all, so the F word and all that. I don't know.
Well, also too, the second game ages up Ellie a lot.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be weird when they get to the second game because I don't know how they're gonna do the flashbacks and then also have the current day stuff.
You think how old is she in the second game? She's an adult.
The second game takes place with like multiple years in the current day. So by time at the end of the game, she's like 20, but she starts off at I think she starts off as 18, and then there's like a time skip.
And people are gonna be pissed. And if the defendant man's gonna be pissed because she's a lesbian.
Yeah, but I mean that's going to be in this season.
Well, it goes with the game, right? I mean, that's what she
Yeah,
is. Big deal.
yeah. I mean, if they're going to complain about that, that's stupid because that's in the first game. Like that's every. If you play the first game, you know
Yeah.
Ellie's a lesbian. Yeah,
Okay. So
it's not a
they
surprise.
won't change the actress if to do a time jump. She could play Ellie in season two, the same actress. There's no worry about
Yeah,
it.
it except for the flashbacks because in the flashbacks she's 16 and 15.
Oh, maybe.
So I don't know if she will just. I don't know how they're going to do that. That's going to be maybe like the trickiest part of the next season. Well, and I think the second game is going to get split into two seasons,
I
so it'll be
heard
season
that.
2 and 3. Yeah, that makes the most amount of sense.
That's and yeah, but you know why? Because they might want to do because I'm sure Pedro Pascal knows this. His character dies the second game,
Mm.
so maybe they want to sign him on for more once. Well, obviously, it's gonna be more one season.
Well, yeah, he dies, but like Joel is consistently in the game. It's just obviously he's not. It's through flashbacks.
Okay, yeah, okay, maybe they'll do it through flashbacks.
Yeah, I think what will happen to be honest is they're gonna have to. Okay, this is my theory, right? I think they're going to change obviously the big controversial. Uh, well, I still think Joel is gonna die, but the way that they did it in the game is they're gonna change that to what it originally was because originally Abby was a member of Jacksonville, right? So you got to actually know who Abby was, right? And then she eventually kills Joel. While in obviously the game that we got, it's just sort of like immediate, right? Where she's been stalking him, and they find out who. They just so happen to run into each other, and she ends up killing him. So I think that whole how they get up to Joel's death is going to change.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
can't
Because you can't do the story without killing Joel. That's the thing.
no.
It's gonna be way too hard.
Oh
At that
yeah,
point, there's no story.
yeah. It would be stupid to not kill Joel in this
Hmm.
show, right?
Yeah, unless I mean they the thing is they said that they're not deviating from the game.
Yeah,
So
I mean, they do take little changes. It's not big
mhm.
changes, right? We have
No,
so far in two
yeah,
episodes, we obviously really big changes that really impact the whole story. It's,
I mean there's changes in the sense where it's like it's not really a change to the story so far.
exactly.
Yeah, they're just like sort of lore changes, like
Yeah.
the fungus or the cordyceps work differently, or
Mhm.
small things where okay they didn't kill Robert, right? But that's because in the game you're playing and tracking down Robert. It's like you can't really do that in a TV show,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, I think it's gonna be. I mean, there's still how many episodes left? They're
So,
already at Bill and Frank, so I mean
yeah.
they're I mean in the grand scheme of things, I feel like there's not really a lot to cover, but there still is. It's weird,
Mhm.
like so. It, it's gonna be interesting to see. I'm very excited for next week though, definitely. I'm hoping there is one part that they put in next week. I'm not sure if you remember this part where you're hanging upside down and you have to shoot the runners.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I hope that's in the next episode because that would be pretty cool.
I can't wait to see Tommy again.
Yeah, it seems like he's gonna be. Oh, they might reference him in the next episode too, right? So we'll see what's going on with that.
You don't reference him at all in this episode. I don't think they mentioned him once in this episode.
No, I don't think they did.
Yeah, I think the relationship between Tess and Joel in this, it seems like Tess. I mean, they do care for each other, but it seems like Tess cares for Joel more in a sense that maybe she's in love with him, where Joel uses her as comfort at times instead of actual love. Because you see them during, they're in bed together, right? Like in the first episode, right? They sleep in the same bed together. I think, right? But it seems I think you're right. It seems like Tess cares is more and has feelings for Joel, where Joel just seems her as comfort for all the pain he's gone through. Is that what you're going at?
Yeah, that's what I think that was going on. I mean, it's kind of sad in that way because it's like he didn't really. I guess if he knew that was all going to happen, he probably would have, showed her a little bit more, care and attention, right?
It's sad.
But he didn't realize that was going to happen.
It's sad when we get to see her 2 episodes. Man, they couldn't at least drag it out to like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like from what I understand, the second episode and the first episode were kind of merged. So, we didn't get to spend a longer time with her because the show was supposed to be 10 episodes, but they cut it down.
Yeah, because the first episode this episode was basically 55 minutes. Like the first episode was like 1 hour and 25 minutes. It was it's like Disney does special. That was a special. I personally don't like TV shows be over 1 hour long, personally. Well, but HBO, I mean, most streaming services do that, right? The first episode. I think Netflix has the opposite, though. Netflix is usually the later episodes are usually the longest.
Yeah, sometimes, yes.
Yeah. But I know Disney, HBO, I think they do the first episode usually the longest. But because the Disney Marvel shows lately, the fifth season finale episodes are usually short now. They're becoming shorter and shorter.
Yes, which I don't understand. Well, I'm sure maybe this show will do it, but like usually the penultimate episode, right? The second last episode is like the longest.
Yeah, as much as people get shit Warner Brothers Discovery, HBO is it's top 3 streaming service like out there.
Yeah, they're way top tier. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't really beat HBO in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's sad because they should be able to focus on other stuff, right? Like, and people somebody's shitting on the Blue Beetle already without knowing anything.
Yeah, we know nothing about that movie, and people are shitting on it. It's dumb.
That's only one person that was sitting on it, and it made a trend on my Twitter feed. Oh,
I'm
sorry, but she's kind of she likes attention. She craves it.
Yeah. Oh, man, I don't know where that account came from. It was just like I didn't know she was a streamer and all this stuff. Because like the way I got introduced was
people believe her scoops. People say scoops. I don't believe it from a second.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, Degrassi basically told me no, it's not true. What she says, no, I don't believe it for a second. Like, she came out of nowhere, and it's not that makes me. It's not that that angers me about. It's her attitude.
Yeah, it's just like throwing like And it was the same thing from Marvel. Some of the comments she said about Marvel was like, bro, what are you talking about? Like I
She's
don't even think you understand what's going on.
I think she's like she's you know how sometimes my time to shine like to take cheap shots and stuff. She's my time to shine times 100.
Well, there's another account that's like my time to shine. It's like the toast. You know
Yeah,
who I'm talking about? Yeah.
I know.
So there's all these accounts all of a sudden now. No, if you notice, are like popping up that are like
You know that
mimicking her personality. It's weird.
you think it's her.
It's all the same person.
It's possible. I wouldn't be.
I don't. That would be funny, but I don't think so. I wouldn't be surprised if the toast
You
was
know,
her.
you know that
Yeah,
guy. You know that guy who said all the Marvel changes. With the movies, like Doctor Strange 3 is gonna happen before Secret Wars or whatever, Kang Dynasty and Spider-Man 4, blah 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 blah, Eternals 2, Signs and
yeah. I
that
don't even
guy,
remember who that guy was.
Jason Greyface. He doesn't. I check his Twitter account. He doesn't have Twitter anymore. Like it's gone.
It's gone. Oh
Yeah,
man. Uh,
I
these
personally think
scoopers. I'm telling you.
they don't have stuff. I'm sorry, I don't think they have stuff.
No. Yeah. Also, I need to get this out. This may be a reoccurring thing on this Last of Us streams.
Maybe it's just
Um,
it's just their
Grace Grace is every time in her breakdown video keeps just exposing
She
the
made one
fact that
today.
she knows nothing about the game, but keeps
She made
saying
one
that she
tonight.
watched the game's cutscenes. You know what she said? She was like, "Oh,
Capia,
she said that
Grace
she
Capia.
watched." Yeah, Grace Campia. That's what we're just gonna have to say from now on.
Yeah,
She said I watched the video, right? She said in the video that she was like, "Oh, I watched the cutscenes of all, of the whole game, right?" And then she was like, "Oh, are there going to be super zombies in the show?" Right? Like I saw something in the trailer and I was like, "Is that a clicker?" And it was like, "Wait a minute. Didn't you just say you watched the whole cutscene of the game? How don't you know what a bloater is? You said you you watched the entire game." So I was like, "Okay. Okay. You're looking up and watching the show
Mhm.
and where it lines up, right? Like you don't completely watch the because she keeps saying, I don't understand why people like this, right? And it was like, okay, if you I don't understand how you don't understand people why people like this, especially because you can Google it. You can Google why people like The Last of Us. We aren't even at that
What
point.
was it last week? She compared Joel to Chris Pratt.
Yeah, she makes all these really bad comparisons.
I don't know.
I
I don't see the difference in the two. Do you?
No, it was so random. It was like it's
What
like she keeps
conspiracy?
bringing up these comparisons, and it's like, where, why are you comparing it to this? And it's like, and then she's like, well, this thing did it better. What the
She's
hell does that
she's
even
not a
matter?
gamer. She's not a gamer.
Well, yeah, I remember what I said in the live stream where it was like she thought that people bought The Last of Us because it was motion captured. What?
Yes.
It was so dumb. It's like there's no way she thinks that, right? Like, and then she was like, "Oh, people bought it because it was like an animated adult show, and why didn't they just do that for the show?" And it's
No,
like,
because it's not adult.
huh? It's all video games are motion captured. I will listen. I keep watching these her videos on The Last of Us because I know she's always going to
She
say
made
something
one
that's
just
just
after the show.
ridiculous.
She
I
made one.
did. I seen it.
Oh, really? I didn't see it yet. I have
Yeah,
subscribed. Yeah.
yeah. That's what I was complaining about, where she was talking about the bloaters. She didn't know what a bloater
And
was, but
people in the chat like simp for her. Like,
yeah, a lot of people listen. I already said, my problem with Grace Randolph is that she pretends to know things that obviously she doesn't know. It's very clear, right? Like once you know what she's talking about, and then she's again, like I was talking about the bloaters, right? In the newest video.
oh, Arkham. Yeah. Vanville did say some of the stuff that they think is going to change.
Yeah.
If season two is based on the second game, like people are saying it's not confirmed, but we know confirmed it's going to be more seasons. That's pretty much confirmed. But
Mhm.
people are saying 2 and 3 seasons are going to be basically the second game, right? It's going to be into 2 seasons.
Yes.
So yeah, he says he did say it's going to change it, like specifically Joel's death. How they're going to get to that, like that.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I still think he's gonna die. Obviously,
Yeah. So like I don't know. I mean, how early is it die in the first game? In the second game, like really early, like in like a 40
I
hour
would say
game.
like I would say like 20 to like 30 minutes in, depending on how long you're playing it.
Oh, so
It's
that
very soon in the game.
so that might change a lot in season two because they might do that and kill him off in season two, but still have him flashbacks and stuff. If I
Well, the thing is, like, they have to get through a lot of
yeah,
different things for it to make. I can't see them doing like the first 20 minutes of the first episode, Joel dies, right? Or even in that first episode. I don't think that makes sense.
yeah, that's what I was getting at because of what you said about the game, how quickly it dies of the game.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking if you died like the 20-25 hour mark in the game, yeah, you could probably do it in season three.
No, yeah, no, it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
There was, I don't know, this would be a big change, and it was something I was thinking about because in the way that the first game was revealed, a lot of people don't realize, but it actually tells what the story's gonna be, which is like that Joel comes to Ellie and he's almost like a spirit who comes to her and says like, "What are you gonna do?" Yeah, like this is
Because
what, and a lot of people didn't.
for
Yeah,
sure.
well, you don't realize. I mean, if you look back on it, that's what it is,
For
right? It's like
sure.
he's like a ghost. So I was like thinking, I mean, they could do a situation where it's like it's kind of like Fight Club, where it's like Joel, she doesn't actually know, or we don't know that Joel is dead, right?
Oh,
But she's on this revenge mission for whatever reason, right? And then it's like slowly revealed that, oh, Joel is not actually there with her, right? Joel is dead. And then like that would kind of
you think
be the kind of the ending of the season. And then obviously maybe you would flip to the
oh
other side.
she has these delusions of him?
Yeah, kind of like Fight Club or Mr. Robot. I
Yeah.
mean, I know at this point that would be kind of cliche,
Like
but
like
it would kind of make sense
you
for the
watch
story.
Dexter? You watch Dexter, right?
No, I haven't watched Dexter.
Well, Dexter does develop kind of like a delusion and some
Similar
yeah.
delusion. Okay.
Okay, yeah, something like that. You think you think he's seeing someone, but he's not really there, right? Like that.
Hmm.
And he's telling this person's talking about you know, you see the visions, I guess, of this person,
Hmm.
right? Yeah. You could
Yeah,
do that.
because also too, right, in the trailers there's a fake out where it's like you think Ellie's talking with Joel, but she's not. She's actually talking with Jesse. So maybe they could do something like that. So then, because if you also think about it, right, this is also another problem that the second season might have is there's a good period of time where Ellie is alone, right? Right, Dana doesn't go with her. She only meets up with Jesse at a certain point, and so there's a big chunk of the game where you're just playing Ellie alone. So that doesn't really work for a show. She's gonna have to talk to someone, right?
Mhm.
So it would kind of make sense if the whole time Joel is there, but he's a ghost, or it's like all in her head, right? And
Yeah.
she's trying to like cope with his death.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. They could do
Yeah, you
something.
would have to cut out the beginning part of the game though, and maybe just establish it's Joel. Like some, I don't know. You could establish, oh, something happened to Tommy.
Peacemaker, didn't Peacemaker suffer something like that?
Yeah,
Not
Peacemaker,
yeah.
Peacemaker too. Yes,
And
yes.
it's
In the
no, and
comics,
in the comic.
Peacemaker sees
Yeah.
his dad.
But he
Yeah,
died
and
at
they
the end.
ended off with the show like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Peacemaker, yeah, exactly like that. Yes. That's what I was getting at. Yes. That's you can do something else, but people want to see his death on screen though.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's no way around like not killing Joel because that's the whole point of the story, right? Like you would have to. I'm thinking. I mean, like there's ways to get around it, but eventually you're gonna have to kill Joel. That's the thing.
Yeah,
right?
it's it's instrumental to the story.
Yeah.
And you could do some changes, right? You could like it's okay. You could do some changes, but you cannot the big changes you can't really change. Like you have to keep it and make it
Hmm.
impactful in the game. Like the impactful things in the game, where it led to a big impact in the game, you have to keep in the show. I'm sorry. Like
Yeah.
like how he lost his daughter, it had to be in the show no matter what.
Yeah, there's gonna be certain characters, and that's also another thing too, is that the second game introduces a lot more characters,
Mhm.
who are not killed off immediately, right? There's characters that stick around, right? There's Lev, there's Abby's whole friend group, right? There's obviously Dana and Jesse. Um, there's Tommy's wife, right? So and Tommy himself, and then you obviously have the Seraphites and Lev's sister. So there's a lot more characters, and from what I understand too, they want to explore some of the factions in the second game, right? Like the Seraphites, right? The Seraphites in the second game, they're kind of like a cult, right? And then you have the WLF, who has taken over
It
from
sounds,
Thedorus.
it sounds
So
like
yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
it sounds like Walking Dead. Cult.
Yeah, it is
Facts.
very much like The Walking Dead.
like like every
Well, they
zombie
have slavers too in
every
the second game.
every zombie movie or TV show is always created by a virus. It's always created by a
Hmm.
virus, some sort of virus. Where right? Because they don't want the horror, they don't want like the supernatural aspect where like this demon raises his blood. It's always a virus or
Hmm.
so.
I'm waiting for a zombie. If I had to make a zombie story, I kind of want to do it with technology. Like I haven't really seen that yet.
Except
Like they're in like a VR, right, or something like.
except Zack Snyder, he doesn't know how zombies work. He
Yeah, Zack
doesn't.
Snyder is like
Robot zombies?
no robot zombies, no robot
I have a
zombies.
question for you. Is it possible for robots to become zombies?
Um,
No.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. Hold on, that reminds me of something because
Because they're not living
um,
things.
well, no,
Zombie
I'm trying
Ultron.
to think. Not like in the way because in Army of the Dead it was stupid. It was like there's
It
the
was really
zombies that
bad.
are they're
Pregnant?
robots that are pretending to be zombies, but no one and also too the movie doesn't mention this. This is something you have to
What
pick
the
up while
heck is
watching
why
it.
were what the heck are the robots there in the first place pretending to be zombies? What the
No
hell is
one
that?
know. I think it was like some undercover thing where they're like researching the zombies. It was weird. It was
Did,
weird.
and so it was also weird about that was a
And no
zombie
one
get
mentions
pregnant.
it. No one mentioned.
Zombie?
Yeah, that was weird.
I'm sorry, but how can a zombie get pregnant? Your organs are dead. That's not a zombie. That's a monster or some being. It's like it's not a zombie. I'm
It's
sorry,
not a
it's not a
zombie.
zombie.
Yeah.
So like,
Who's commenting? Let's hear. If HBO picked up, if HBO should have made The Walking Dead in
yeah,
hindsight,
that would.
especially the first season.
I
The
mean,
first season feels like HBO.
Walking Dead pretty AMC is pretty grim, but in HBO to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
See,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
but Degrassi, but robots.
The robots don't make sense in Army of the Dead. And like I said, this is another thing that
The
bothers me
whole, the
about the
whole
Army.
movie was bad. It was
The
trash.
whole movie's bad, but right, like when Dave Batista is like killing the robot zombies, he makes no mention of it, and it was like really confusing. I was like, what am I looking at? That zombie didn't. There was no blood. It was like sparks and like
So,
wires and shit.
according to my scoop, Ultron's gonna come back as a zombie.
Oh man.
Can
Oh man.
you imagine Ultron's back as a zombie?
HBO did pass on Walking Dead. But in hindsight, they were stupid. They were stupid to pass on that show. That
HBO
would have
passed on
been.
that? Really? HBO passes on.
Yeah, he said everybody passed on The Walking Dead. You know what? I think The Walking Dead is definitely going to stay around, right? We obviously have the spin-off shows,
Bunch of
but I
spin-off.
think if they were smart, if I was, Robert Kurtman, I would like shop it to somewhere else that would give a bigger budget, and I would adapt the game. The game, in my opinion, is definitely. I mean, at this point, it's probably like we'd have to be like years removed from even the Last of Us, because the game is very similar to the Last of Us, and it came before the Last of Us. So, but in my opinion, I like the Walking Dead game story more than the Last of Us. In my opinion, like that to me is a lot more emotional.
I mean, I'll probably watch the shows. And the Negan and not Lori,
Mm,
Negan. Botch her name. Lauren Cohan's character. I don't know if I'm interested in that because I don't know how that connects. But with Norman Reedus'
mhm,
character, Daryl, and his character connects with his show is going to connect with Rick and Michonne's show because Daryl is on
mhm,
they just find out like in the last episode they find out that Rick is alive, right? They find out Rick is alive. So I'm interested in that show because Daryl's on the look for for Rick, and he goes to
mhm.
the other halfway across the Atlantic. I think it was supposed to be him and Carol, right? Him and Carol, but the actress for Carol couldn't do it, couldn't film in I guess in Europe or whatever. It was supposed to be Daryl and Carol's show, but it's just Daryl's Norman Reedus' show. Yeah, and Rick, like
Mm,
originally Rick, Walking Dead, like Game of Thrones, those two shows were originally supposed to have movies,
yeah,
right?
and
First,
then they cancel the movie.
yeah, yeah. Rick was supposed to have his own movie, and Michonne was supposed to be in the Rick show, and it was supposed to be like the actress was supposed to be the last few seasons, right? Because she was going
Hmm.
like Black Panther and all that. Yeah, but now it's just to cancel the movie. Like Michonne was supposed to be in the Rick movie too, but now they're all going to connect to the. It's not going to be
To that
Walking Dead.
show.
Yeah, but
Mm,
like, yeah. So the Walking Dead universe is basically. I mean, they really had a universe, right? Fear of the Walking Dead, Beyond the Walking Dead. I mean,
mhm.
it is expanding more.
Yeah, like that whole brand, in my opinion, has just been exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, you got Bruce Wayne and Martha Rain show.
Mm-mm. Yeah, because they're both in The Walking Dead. That was funny.
Yeah, yeah. Number well, because obviously Zack Snyder cast uh, Negan. Oh shit!
Yeah, what's that actor's name?
Oh my god! I had it on the tip of my tongue. Who was in the? He was in the. Yeah, he cast him in Watchmen.
Yeah, he's the comedian in Watchmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I had it on the tip of my. I know who it is.
So yeah, Nick Garassi's gonna say to the comments if he's still
Other
around.
guys, Of course, he knows everybody.
Yeah, he knows everything.
I mean, Lauren Cohan, like, she left the show. She's like in 2018, 2008. She left the show, right? She was not supposed to come back because she started in this sitcom show or something like that.
Mm,
That was canceled like right away, and then she came back to walk into the Walking Dead. I mean, to the Walking Dead. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, thank you.
yeah, Jeffrey.
For everybody wants to be Thomas Wayne. I'm newsflash everybody. We're not getting Flashpoint Thomas Wayne anytime.
No, no.
And he's an asshole in the comics. Okay, Batman basically disowns him in the comics.
It still would have. I think that casting was pretty good though.
I know. Yeah, yeah.
That was a good casting.
He
But he's
does.
gonna be in The Boys, so we'll,
He
we'll,
does
we'll
this.
see him in The Boys.
Well, yeah, and Jason Eccles. Well, it's because the same people who wrote the Supernaturals writes the boys. It's the same.
Hmm.
It's the same guys. Yeah. Kirby, Robert, whatever his name is. Yeah.
Eric
There's
Kripke
Eric
or
Kripke.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boys. He did. He did Supernatural, which lasted forever. That show lasted a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the actress who's playing Cassie Lang was on Supernatural.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't really watch Supernatural. I mean, I kind of wanted to, but it seems like my type of show. Like, but I never got into it.
Yeah. But yeah, like we're not. Yeah, basically the comics Batman owns Flashpoint Batman. So
Hmm.
because his father was trying to like mess with him and man, team up with Bane. No, you don't do it to your son. After
Mm,
you made him cry when Flash came back with the note. How dare you? The Flashpoint.
mm.
That's gonna be funny though. And the rumor is that we might get Slate this week.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is like the last week, right?
Yeah, it is.
I
It
mean,
is.
I mean, I don't think he's going to announce a whole slate. I think he's probably going to announce like my expectation is at least one movie.
What?
I don't think he's going to announce two movies, to be
It's
honest.
gonna
I'll
be,
be surprised if he did.
I think it's gonna be Superman.
I think he's just going to announce Superman. Yeah.
Yeah, the title. I think it's gonna be
Hmm.
the title. He might announce Superman the title, and I don't know about release maybe a year, but not actual date. Maybe a year.
I think what it will be is like this. If there's more movies, it's going to be he's going to announce when Peacemaker season 2 is going to come out. He's going to announce when the Batman is going to come out
You think
to
it's the Batman?
Penguin. Yeah, I think he's going to announce 2024 movies, and then he's going to say,
Oh
here's
yeah,
Superman.
we got nothing for 2024, right?
Yeah, and there's
We got
obviously a lot of stuff coming out in 2024.
yeah. There's nothing. There's nothing beyond. Oh well, the Joker movie, but that's not part. That's not really not the universe. That's a Black Label movie.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah.
But they'll still include that though,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
he still oversees that.
Because it's DC Studios. Everything. Even if it's not the main universe, like Earth One universe, whatever. It is still
Hmm.
part of the DC Studios.
Well, a
I'm trying.
handful. I mean, if they announce a handful of
I'm trying.
projects,
I don't see
that would
James.
be the handful. I really don't think the handful is going to be all these new DC movies.
And you know what's gonna be? It's gonna be Jason Momoa as every DC hero and villain. Because everybody thinks it's gonna be Lobo and Aquaman.
Yeah,
But
like what? Like I just can't see them announcing like, oh, we're getting a new Wonder Woman movie, a new Justice League movie. Like I don't think that's gonna happen.
oh, Max is convinced that Ratcatcher actress is gonna be Wonder Woman.
No, I don't think so. No.
RJ thinks she's gonna be voicing Wonder Woman in the game.
Uh, there's already a voice actor for the video game.
Oh, so tell RJ that.
Yeah, they haven't. She hasn't said it officially, but the actress
Is
teased it
someone we
on
know
her.
in
She
the
teased
video?
that a year ago.
Is it who someone we know in the video game?
No, it's like it's. I think she's done some work, but she's not like a well-known
Oh,
actress. Yeah, it was like she teased the game before anybody knew the game. So people were like, "Oh, she's a voice actor. She teased the game. She's obviously the voice actor, right?" And she's like, "I can't say anything." So I mean, that to me, that's like you're pretty much the actress.
maybe the Ratcatcher actress is a fan of Wonder Woman. I don't think she's.
I
Who
don't.
knows?
I don't think she. First off, one, I don't know. I mean, she's working with James Gunn, and she posts a picture of Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
That
she's in the
doesn't really
Guardians
mean
movie.
much. Yeah. I mean, she's been in all his projects. I mean, like, I'm
It's
pretty sure he did talk with her at least,
it's
or she
it's
probably asked him.
it's well known James Gunn will get some of the people he's worked with, whether it's on
Well,
whether it's
there's supposedly all these projects with James Gunn because do you remember? I want to say it was like early last year. Jensen Ackles said he was working with James Gunn, and then nothing happened. Like he said this on a podcast, and it was like he was like, "Oh, it's I'm working with James Gunn, and it's DC related, but I can't say anything." And then the guy was like, "Oh, that's weird," and he's like, "Yeah, I can't say anything about it." And then it went nowhere.
yeah, I remember that he did say that. Jason Ackles. I don't know.
So Jason Ackles is working with James Gunn. There's a,
Maybe
there's there's a but I'm sure there's a bunch of people that are working with him that
he's
we
not
just
gonna be
don't know
Jason.
about
He's
yet.
not gonna be live action Jason Todd. He's too old for that. And he
No,
was
I
too
don't think he was. I
and
don't.
he
I
was,
thought it was something Suicide Squad
and he
related.
was too old for it back then too.
Yeah, and also I don't like him as a Batman. No.
No, Jesse Eccles does not fit Batman. No, I his face looks more like a Robin to me, actually.
I think after the boys, he's probably gonna play a villain,
Yeah.
like a reoccurring villain. Which by the way, Jason Ackles was said that he wanted to be Joel. That he was trying to get
The
the
problem with
role for Joel.
Jason Ackles is not more is more of a TV star. I mean, he tried to break out into
Yeah.
movies a couple of times, but they haven't been successful.
Oh, highlight Degrassi's comic because yeah, this is also a good point too.
Oh,
Yeah,
see, she could be, but
that
people
would be better in my opinion.
for her. But the thing is, you don't start off with that. You start with Diana Prince. You have to start with the core. You
Well,
start,
the new Wonder Woman feels really disconnected from the Wonder Woman mythos anyway.
but I think you still go with Diana Prince, don't you?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, but yeah, that would make more sense because I mean, like, I don't even know. Are they going to cast it accurate this time? Like, is she going to be like someone who's like Greek or Mediterranean? I mean, well, I
Well,
guess
Gal
Gal
Gadot
Gadot
technically is
is
Mediterranean.
Mediterranean.
She's
Yeah,
really
that's a good point. Yeah, I kind of didn't realize that until it was like, oh yeah, well, Israel is in the Mediterranean, right?
yeah,
So
pretty much. Yeah, but they're not gonna look for
no, he's
him like
not. No, no, no. He's a very good Batman voice actor. He's not a very good looking Batman.
yeah,
He doesn't look like Batman.
yeah. I man, I
Like
can't wait for.
and yeah, and you're right. He's a TV actor. I just can't see him being in a movie.
He's a very well-known TV actor. He's I seen him in only one movie, and it was him playing a. I don't remember what it was. He was like a killer or something. I don't know.
Mm,
But he's been in a lot of he was in Smallville. I believe that's where you guys first met him. He was in Smallville first. I remember that. He
hmm.
was he Lana Lang's love interest in Smallville? I think. I don't remember that much. Yeah, but we're probably gonna go with a young Superman. According to Degrassi, my buddy Degrassi, they might have a Superman, and they might announce it in a few months because Superman turns 45. No, not 45. 85.
85 this year.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess that would make sense.
not
Well,
45.
then,
Superman's up
so then they won't announce the Superman project. They'll just announce just a new slate for DC.
they might announce an Arkham Asylum show, and they might announce the Batman. I mean, that like Matt Reeves basically said the Batman 2 script is pretty much done, right? Like he's
Hmm.
deep into it, right? So maybe they'll announce that. I mean, because look, the Batman 2 is happening, but it's not official. It's not official yet.
Hmm.
It
Yeah,
is.
I mean, he has like,
It's
I
verbal.
mean, people, you know, listen, we'll make a
Yeah,
prediction here. I can guarantee you, he will announce the slate, and then
yeah.
it's not going to consist of all these new DC universe projects, and then people are going to get pissed off.
I think the Batman 2 will probably be a 2025 film
Yeah.
because I think it will get announced officially this year. It's all verbal with that film, right? We know what's going to happen. I mean, come on, like it does. And according to a certain, you know, Geekosity supporter or a certain Soul Nation, he doesn't think it's going to happen. Bullshit. Talks out of his
The
ass.
Batman 2 is not happening? No, that's dumb.
Yeah, that's what the
Why
guy
would you?
said.
No.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. He posted on Twitter yesterday, and RJ replied to it.
I don't even need to even be an insider to tell you that the
No,
Batman 2 is happening.
yeah, that's happening. Like, if Batman 2 is not happening, the
They
Penguin
would have
film is not
told us. Yes, yes, that's also
happening.
another good point too. If the Batman 2 was not happening, they would have
Yeah,
or they are going to tell us that it's not happening,
it may not be
which is not
called
the
the Batman.
case.
It's probably gonna have an actual name this time because the Batman's good for the first movie, just call it the Batman, but you need a title for the second one.
I wouldn't be surprised if they reversed it, if it was like a subtitle first and then it was like Batman.
Yeah, yeah. And I heard Superman might just be like Stu Grassley thinks Superman just might be just called Superman and not nothing else.
I could see that. I think that's what's going to
You
happen.
could do that with first movies, right? Like
Well, I think well, we haven't had a Superman movie that was just called Superman.
the thing is, Marvel does that. When Marvel does the sequels, the first movies always
Recently, I should say.
Marvel
Sorry.
use Marvel usually calls the first movies are usually like Thor, but Captain America is called the first Avenger, so that's an anomaly there. But it's usually Thor, Iron Man 1. I think Iron Man 2 and 3 didn't have a titles. That's the only one, but I'm pretty sure Thor all three sequels had titles, actual full titles. Captain America is the only one that did all four movies had subtitles. There's not
Hmm.
Iron Man had none. Guardians just had none subtitles because it's just Guardians Volume 1, 2, and 3. The
Hmm.
Marvels, I guess the Marvels don't have subtitles, but it's basically a different title though.
Hmm.
It was on a Captain Marvel 2, so I guess you could take that out of the equation. Like Doctor Strange had a subtitle for the sequel, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, we could do.
Well, they do subtitles because they don't want to put numbers on it because it would
Yeah,
get too confusing.
I think they're gonna do that with the Batman. Or I was like Batman, Superman, the original Superman. They did 1, 2, 3, and 4, but they didn't. They did add in the Crest Piece stuff like that. The
Hmm.
Batman, the Burden, and Schumacher. They didn't do that. They just kept
No, yeah,
Dark Knight.
yeah. The Dark Knight didn't do that either. Well, they had Batman Begins and then Dark Knight and then Dark Knight
Original
Rises.
Spider Man before Tom Holland Spider Man. They did all numbers.
All the yeah, they did numbers.
Oh God.
Yeah, I think that makes the most amount of sense.
Okay, just announce the villain. I want to announce the villain. Just announce the villain. They might not. They're not probably not going to announce the villain. They might want us to watch the Penguin show. They guys give us a hint.
I really think when they announce the Batman 2, and if they announce the Superman movie, I feel like they're going to they're going to either flat out say or they're going to hint that the
Mhm.
Batman is connected with Superman.
Why
That's what I think is going
they
to
are in
happen.
that universe? Technically, Superman is and X Corp is in that universe. Luthor is in that universe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they did have the costume party that they cut
Yeah,
out.
yeah. It's in the graphic novel too. Lex Corp is mentioned in the graphic novel prequel to the Batman. So, and I think you're right about Hush was originally probably supposed to be a main antagonist in the Gotham Knight. No, Arkham Knight, not Gotham. Fuck. I'm
You
sorry,
mean
Arkham
Arkham
Knight.
Knight?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was all leading up to the first game. Hush was not in the first game, but there was lead ups at first. He was like in the comics, he was a doctor, a surgeon, but in the game, he was a
Hmm.
doctor, surgeon, but working at Arkham. Arkham, he was a doctor, surgeon working at Arkham, right?
Hmm.
So he has access to criminals there. He can talk with the criminals, right? Stuff like that. Arkham City, you go to the church where you take down Harley. After you take down Harley, you see a guy on them, like you see him holding up a jar, right? And the
Hmm.
face is all covered up. And you see the doctor, you ask the doctor who's there nearby, explain what happened to this guy. Basically says he went mad and did this and this. Obviously that was Hush, right? That was Hush. And then that scene when he did when you figure out all the murders and who took all these victims' faces, find out it's Hush, right?
Hmm.
Obviously with in the apartment. I think it was all leading up to Hush for the third. I think it was all leading to Hush and Scarecrow working together because you read the comics. Scarecrow and Hush have a connection,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Well, I mean, like I keep saying, like in Arkham City, right? Like when you do the quest and you get to the
Mm-hmm.
quest, if you think about it, doesn't go anywhere, and that's because it sets up the events of the next game. And so for the next game to literally have just a mini side quest that has no impact, you're just like, what was the point of that whole big? Oh, I got big plans, I got all this stuff, right? It just doesn't make sense,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
it's clear that obviously they cut that. You don't even need to really know what was going on to know
You told me it
they
was
cut it.
Paul. You told me like Paul Dini. Dad, was it Paul Dini?
Yeah, Paul Dini. Yeah, they had to like do some restructuring or something, and so they for some reason, just they couldn't agree. I don't know. I want to know why. Like, why did he wrote two of your first games? Why let him go for this third game? Because it made a massive
He was
difference.
setting up Hush.
Yeah,
A lot of games.
it was clear.
From Arkham, from the first Arkham game, he was setting up Hush.
Yes.
It was and they just they probably want to go with a different villain for a third game that work with Scarecrow. And Jason Todd, why would Jason Todd work with the Scarecrow?
Yeah. Yeah. Why?
Like,
Why would he work with? Yeah, it's just weird.
Jason Todd's an anti-hero. Why would he work with a Scarecrow? Sorry, that doesn't make sense.
No, it would make sense if he worked with Hush.
Yeah, because they have a connection. Hush and Scarecrow have a connection. But there was stuff. Definitely something. There was a change of plans there with those. That's why it took 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
4 years between those two games, right? Because what obviously Montreal, right? Montreal had to do Origins because in 2013, and then.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
The Origins really has no connection. I mean, there's some Easter eggs in Arkham Knight, but there's really no plot threads at all.
No, not much. No.
Besides Deathstroke.
Deathstroke.
But if you think about it, right? If you never played Arkham Origins, it really doesn't matter.
No. But Deathstroke was disappointing in Arkham Knight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Overall, that was disappointing. I mean, the thing about the Arkham games, the boss fights were actually, to me, were kind of the weakest points of the games.
Mm-hmm.
Weakest aspects of some games. Like Deathstroke and you just fight Deathstroke with the Batmobile, man. That's it.
Well, I think I feel like, well, I would say Arkham City still has the best boss fights because at least it was like a little bit more variety, like in terms of like how you would take down the boss. Arkham Asylum was like probably the worst for bosses.
Because you don't really fight Scarecrow. I mean, you do, but you don't use.
Well, all the bosses were kind of the same.
Victor Zsasz, all you do is sneak up on him, he's done.
Yeah.
Like, no.
And then Bane is like pretty easy.
Bane is.
It wasn't.
You just gotta avoid him and stuff like that. And have him.
I did. I mean, do you even count this as a boss, the Killer Croc?
No.
It was a fun sequence though. Like I like that sequence.
It is a fun sequence. Just running away from him, and you get do the quick gel spot.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. Harley Quinn, he didn't fight.
Harley Quinn. Yeah. And Scarecrow, you fight him like 3 times in the game. Well, it gets like you already know what to do by time the second and third time comes around.
Yeah, you really don't. Poison Ivy. I mean, Poison Ivy fun.
Same with Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy was so easy.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Titan Joker. Like the bosses, in my opinion, are not great.
No.
Looking back.
But Joker's stupid. All he does is pose. When he's a Titan Joker, he poses at the time. I mean, like Joker, stop posing. You're not going to lose. He's so cocky. Like,
no, City still has the best, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, you got two. You actually don't really fight Two-Face, do you? Maybe later on.
In City?
Well, when it becomes a side mission, Two-Face later becomes a side mission.
Yeah, he becomes a side mission.
He was a story mission at the beginning for that's it.
Yeah, where you go in and doesn't he have Catwoman or no, was it? Yeah, he does. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you pre-ordered, you get to the Catwoman DLC story for. Right?
Well, they included that in all the
Yeah. Also,
in the remaster.
Solomon Grundy. Oh.
Yeah, Solomon Grundy was fun, and Mr. Freeze. Yeah.
I think he did fight Penguin. He fought.
Yes, you fight Penguin. And then Riddler. If you get all the trophies, yeah, Clayface, Ra's al Ghul.
Mm-hmm.
Who else was there?
Talia's in it. Oh no, but you don't fight her. You don't fight Talia.
Yeah, I mean you don't find Bane either, technically. I mean,
No.
I'm trying to remember. You go in and then all those dudes show up. You might have fight. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember.
Mad Hatter, you
You,
fight. You don't fight
yeah,
Mad Hatter.
Mad Hatter is also kind of cool too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. City, in my opinion, is just uh, like It's not. I don't know. It feels like Arkham Knight. There's a lot of characters, but then there isn't. It's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah. Even like the Professor Pig was like very similar to Mad Hatter.
Professor
Like in
Pig.
term, yeah, because he's got
Yeah.
all those like victims and they fight you and stuff. It's like okay, that's like very similar to Mad Hatter.
Yeah. I hate. Man, I hope everything about Suicide Squad it's not true about the battle pass.
At this point, I don't even know. Like, I need to see footage. I'm definitely skeptical. Like before, I was very excited, but now I'm not.
And Avengers is shutting down. Yeah.
Yep, writing was on the wall.
See? Just because MCU the necessary to make video games popular.
It's kind of funny if Suicide Squad does turn out to be a bad game, because then
uh,
it would mean that one after the other, Marvel had a string of good games. If
mhm.
you think about it, because Guardians, then Midnight Suns, and then we don't even need to play it. We know Spider-Man 2 is going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, like we know that's weird because Marvel had a time where the games were not exactly like we're doing well. We're not the
Mhm.
strong suit, you know.
Yeah, I mean, outside before Guardians, it was just Spider-Man and Avengers.
But the thing is, DC always let on Batman know for their games.
And Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, but that was on
Yeah,
Switch. Yeah,
yeah, but that came years after two. Two was like a decade
yeah.
before that game. And then rumor,
Didn't
there's
2 come out like 2011,
yeah,
maybe 2010? Yeah.
yeah. And there is a rumor out. I don't know if it's true. There is a rumor that Marvel Ultimate Alliance is going to do something with Kang Dynasty. Four is going to deal with Kang. If
Mm.
that's the case, if that's true, I wouldn't expect this game to be released until when the multiverse saga is at the end, like they did with
I could see this.
yeah.
I could see the game if because it's been 3 years since the third game. It could come out this year
four
or
years
next
actually,
year.
almost 4 years almost.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
shit. Yeah.
2019.
2019 was 4 years ago. Oh my god.
You know
Oh my
what?
god.
What was a good Marvel game that used Kang as the main villain? Lego Marvel Heroes 2.
Yeah, I want to play that game. It always goes on sale.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like with all the realities and getting to run with each other. And Kang is the villain. That's where Baby Kang's from. And now
Mm.
they better put Baby Kang in the video game. No, Baby Kang in the multiverse saga in one of the movies.
Oh, that's reminding me. Can we talk about the Ant-Man
What? Go ahead.
leaks?
Sure.
Do you want you? I mean, this is a spoiler stream for another show, but
Oh, we can't. No, okay. We'll end it here. Then we'll talk.
okay then.
We're gonna end it here, guys. Thank you for all listening.